Hi, my name is Jerry Bell. I would like to educate you on many different wood products. This will help you make the right decision when shopping for your hardwood floor. But first, let me give you a background on who I am and how I obtained my knowledge. I started laying wood floors back in 1987. I have numerous certificates from many different wood manufacturers and trade schools. At one point in my career, I worked for a company that sent me to problem job sites. It was my job to determine what caused the job to fail. What we're going to talk about would be the different types of wood products and different type of installations. This way, when you're shopping for a wood floor, you can pick out the floor that's best suited for you. I would like to start with the solid products. This is 3/4 solid. Here's a side view. Basically, it's a solid piece of wood. They cut a tongue and a groove. And this particular product is a pre-finished product. So when you nail it down, you're done. If you put it down unfinished, then you have to have sanders, finish crew come in, sand and refinish it, and put a finish on it. I would consider the pre-finished products, you'll end up with anywhere from a 10 to 50-year finish warranty. Job site finish, you'll get about a year warranty. The newer finishes, they're putting ceramic dust in a polyurethane. It's called aluminum oxide. And they're baking the finish on, so it's a much more durable finish than job site finish. It will outlast it about 10 times versus job site. So again, this is a 3/4 solid wood, comes in different species, pre-finished and unfinished. Now I want you to see this. This is another line of solid wood. As you can see, the side view, but it's not 3/4, it's 5/8. And with the subfloors, we don't need to use 3/4. You've got a nice sandable surface with this product. It comes pre-finished. You have a 25-year finish warranty, and this is another line of solid woods. Here is a 5/16 solid. This is a Brazilian cherry. This is a pre-finished product, but this is a solid wood product. Parquet flooring is also considered solid wood. It's solid in nature, that it's actually a solid board. You do have the grain of the wood turning different directions. So you got this block, the grain's running this way, you have the grain running this way. Because of this floor is going to expand in all directions. Wood expands in the width and very little in the length. So because of the grain being turned both directions, you need expansion all the way around the room. With the plank flooring, you will need it on the width, not so much the length, but you do need the width. And 3/4, you're looking at 3/4 of an inch expansion. The rule of thumb is the thickness of the floor, that's how much expansion you need. So if you're using a 5/8 solid, you need 5/8 expansion. So solid woods, you have 3/4. Couple sizes we did not show you is a 7/16. We did show you the 5/8 and the 5/16, and the parquet flooring that will be anywhere from a 1/4 inch to 5/16 thickness. Okay, so now we've talked about solid wood flooring, be it pre-finished or unfinished. It's been used for many, many years, very successfully. Because of it, the nature of the wood, you do need to take precaution. Moisture, wood and water do not mix, so moisture will cause wood to expand. So there's areas that floor cannot be installed, for instance, basements, high humid areas. The engineered flooring would be a much better choice in those areas. Again, the character of a solid wood is it's going to expand in the width. With engineered flooring, and of course they did not have the capabilities to engineer wood floor years ago. The reason they engineer a floor, not because it's cheaper to do, actually it takes more machinery, manpower, materials, and glue, that type of materials to manufacture an engineered wood floor. With wood, remember we said wood expands into width. By taking layers of wood, turning the grain back and forth, it's more stable, doesn't expand and contract like solid wood. So let's take a look at some of the engineered products. This is one of the engineered products. This is an oak species, comes in different stains, different colors. Again, a pre-finished, you're looking at a 25-year finish warranty with this product. The most interesting thing is the side view, and I'll see if you can see that, and I'll compare that to the 3/4 solid. And first impression when you see 3/4 solid is, man, this will last forever. So why would I want an engineered wood floor? Well, one, it's more stable. But if you take a closer look, as you can see, the tongue here, when you install this floor, there's a nail that is driven right here. So I drew a line here, if you can see that. Your sandable surface is from the top of the wood to that line. Basically what's going to happen, you're going to hit the nail that you use to install the floor, and when you hit that nail, you're done sanding. So you can see from this view, you see how much wasted wood you have here? With subfloors, you don't need all this wood. Basically, it's a waste. And with an engineered floor, you can see your sandable surface that you have here. When you hit the layers of wood, you're done sanding. And basically, you got the same amount of sandable surface on this engineered product that you would have on this 3/4 nail down. Not all engineered floors will give you the same sandability. Matter of fact, some products are not sandable at all. But there are some that will guarantee you 3 sandings. The last floor we want to talk about is a floating floor. This is a floating floor. Here's your side view. Basically, it's a wood over plywood type construction. Most floating floors will come with what they call a 3-strip, where they're actually manufacturing 3 boards into one wide board. You have a glue in the tongue and groove over foam, and this is what they call a floating system. I'm not a big fan on the floating floors. I'll demonstrate to you the sound quality here in a minute, but let me show you this as well. The overall look of the floor, because they're doing the majority of it's a 3-strip pattern, but you see the normal seam where they put this wide board and this together. You see the normal seam here, and at the end you have end joints. You've got 3 rows of boards here. You don't see the factory seam, but you do see the normal seam. And when we install a wood floor, we stagger the end joints. We never put 3 end joints in line with each other. We always stagger that. With this type of construction, you have no choice but to have end joints running across three rows of boards like that. So the overall look, you end up with a plastic laminate type of look. The last thing you want is someone to come into your house and say, well, it looks like wood, but what is it? This is a plastic laminate flooring. Again, they're running 3 rows of boards on one wide board. You see the normal seam, and you don't see it here. So as the light glares across it, you get that artificial look. I'm going to touch a little bit on the plastic laminate. I've had folks come to me and say, yeah, I put a wood floor in my house, and I put in the Pergo. Well, Pergo's a brand name. Most people refer to it because it's one of the first laminates that was introduced into the market. Right now, there's literally hundreds of laminates out there. But a laminate is like a Formica type of material, a little bit stronger than your Formica countertops. If you take a knife to your Formica countertop, you're going to cut and scratch it. With these products, you're going to do the same thing. It will cut, it will scratch. With the laminates, as they wear out through the years, there's not a thing you can do with them other than replace them. With the wood flooring, as they get scratched up, you can recoat the polyurethane. There's top coat dressings you can apply yourself. You could have a professional come out and do a recoat. And if you get some of the better made products, you can sand and refinish it. Laminates, you don't have that capability. Your wood flooring adds value to the house. Laminates do not. A laminate flooring is basically, it's a picture of wood made to look like wood, but it's a very thin, if you can see this, it's just a composite underneath and a picture on top. And that's a laminate floor. At this time, we're going to look at the installation of the products. On the 3/4 products, I recommend nailing down. Your engineered products, I recommend gluing down. However, you can staple, glue, and your floating floors you can also staple, glue, or float. I'm going to demonstrate the sound quality of a floating floor, and you decide if that's the sound you want in your house. Okay, we're going to set up. And like I showed you earlier, when you install a floating floor, you have a foam underlayment that also serves as a moisture barrier. This goes down on the over the subfloor, and then your floating floor will go down over top of that. Again, it's glued here in the tongue and groove, and you tap that together, and that's what holds it. Basically, it's laying here on the floor. So your sound, what you end up with is that hollow sound. If you compare that to a glue down system, big difference in sound. And if you have pets, the nails of the pets, you're going to hear echo through the house. So my preference is a glue down system. When the floor is glued down directly to the subfloor, it becomes part of the floor, and you don't have that sound transfer ricocheting underneath, so you get a much firmer sound. I want to talk about the PSI rating. That's the pressure per square inch that it takes to drive a steel ball halfway into the wood. This is done with what they call a Janka test. There's a chart out, and I'm going to display that for you at this time. This particular chart is showing you the 3/4 products and the PSI rating. Pine being a soft floor, you can see that it has a lower number than a hard floor. A Brazilian cherry, which is indicating that it takes more pressure to drive the steel ball into the wood flooring. I want to talk about the different engineered products. Some manufacturers use hard material in the engineering. Some manufacturers will use a soft material. This is important because it changes the PSI rating of the floor. Companies that use the hard material, just as an example, the PSI rating will be higher than a 3/4 solid PSI rating. You're going to get like a 40% harder wood out of an engineered product that uses a hard material. And just to give you an example, the red oak is rated at 1290 PSI. One of the companies out there, they have a 1610 rating, and I'm going to put that chart up so you can see that as well. So it becomes harder than the solid wood, takes more pressure to dent the floor. Companies that use a soft core, and I'm going to put up a picture, a side view. Typically you can see it's just a yellow view of the side. That's a soft core, and here's another picture where I've literally taken my fingernail and pushed my fingernail into the wood. I'm going to display a picture here. This is a product that uses hard materials. If it's an oak floor, they're going to use oak layers in between it. The other advantage too, it's going to expand and contract at the same rate. When you use different species of materials and you have different expansion rates, sometimes that will create you problems. So it does make a difference in the manufacturing of what materials they use. If they use a soft core, that PSI rating will drop as low as 950. So you go from 950 to a company that uses the hard materials up to 1610. and again your 3/4 solid is rated at 1290. So an engineered flooring that uses the harder materials will take more pressure to dent the floor. The manufacturers that use the hard materials typically will put that PSI rating right on the sample, and here's an example of what you would see. Something to look for as you're shopping for your next hardwood floor. Okay, another chart that I'm going to show you, this is a spec sheet on one of the manufacturers, but the fire rating, when they compare it to the solid wood versus the engineered flooring, the solid wood has a fire rating of a Class C. The engineered product has a fire rating of a Class B. And hopefully you don't have to test it, but it's good to know that you have a better fire rating with the engineered products. The other part I'm going to show you is the termite resistant. Through the years I've seen plenty of termites in solid wood products. I have yet to see a termite eat an engineered floor. They don't say it's termite proof, but it is termite resistant. So that's another added feature why you would pick an engineered product. Some of the finishes, the polyurethane gets sucked down into the grain of the wood. And I'm going to post a picture here to show you what happens when you have what I call an open grain. Dirt and soil will collect down in the crevices of the board. When that happens, it's very hard to clean that out of the crevices of the wood. You want to look for a nice sealed product so you don't have all the open grain so the dirt and soil would collect into the floor. So you want to look at the finish when shopping a floor. A lot of salespeople want to sell you price, and as you're looking at those cheaper products, you're going to find that it's got the soft core, it's got the open grain finish. And there's a reason why you would pay more for a better product. It's going to outlast. I compare it to buying a car. You could buy a Yugo and you could buy a Cadillac. They're both going to get you down the road, but one's going to get you down the road a whole lot better than the other. Now that you have some background on what products to purchase, you want to seek out a professional company to deal with. And you want to deal with companies that have their own installers. They have their license that's required here in Pinellas County. You wanted someone installing your floor that specializes in wood flooring. Let's take a look at an installation of a floor and give you a basic background on how a glue-down system is installed. Okay, what we've got here, we've got 3 layers of floor here. We've got vinyl over kill and stick, and then looks like one of the original V8 tile floors. It's not stuck well enough to be putting a wood floor on. So that's what we're doing now. Just a putty knife, coming right up, and so we'll do that, and we'll be right back. What we want to do now is undercut the door jamb. So when we get to laying the wood here, it will go underneath this jamb. A whole lot easier than trying to scribe it. You would never get a decent cut doing it that way. 2 ways you can do it. We have here undercut saw designed to cut that, or you can just lay a piece of scrap wood and just take a hand saw, and by using the wood as a gauge, take your saw here, saw that, pull that out, and then you'll be able to slide the wood underneath here. The baseboard will attach here along the wall, so we don't have to do anything there. So at this time we'll undercut the jamb. Also want to wear safety goggles when you do this. Okay, we got the first jamb done here, and as you can see, the wood slides under there nicely. We're going to lay wood into here, so we're going to go ahead and cut all of this and the other side, and as soon as we get that done, we'll be right back. Okay, the next thing we want to do is chalk a straight line to go off of. And we're running our planks the length of the room, so we've taken this, our longest wall, and I'm making a mark 3.25 inches. We're using a 3-inch wide board, and this, by the time we get to the wall, this should fall just right, giving us a little bit of expansion at the wall. When we put up the molding, that will cover that. So I've already marked my marks. All we got to do now is chalk a line. That looks pretty good. Okay, now we have our starting line. The next step is I'm going to measure a couple feet over, chalk another line, and this will give me an area where we can spread the glue. I'm also going to set our wood up here behind us. We'll set up several cartons, so we'll work from several cartons so we get a good blend and not a section of dark and light boards. Okay, what we're going to do now, we've got our line chalked here. We went over 3 feet, we chalked another line, and so we're ready to spread the glue. We've got the glue in place, and I did get a little bit on me, which is unusual. It's been a while since I've laid a wood floor, but it's always good to keep a rag with mineral spirits as you're installing the floor to keep your hands clean, because it does get a little aggravating when you get it on your fingers and things start getting sticky. You're going to get some on the floor as you install it, but after it's done, you come back, clean it with mineral spirits, and it takes the glue off. If you clean it right away, sometimes water will do it. And so now we're going to take a few boards and create some starter cuts because we want a random length. Most of these are the same length. And we'll cut so we have some good starters. Okay, we've got the same length boards. In a glue down application, I like to work with the tongue facing me. This way, as you slide the board in, you're not dragging a lot of glue in the groove. You put the tongue in and then drop the board into place. But we're going to cut 3 boards here, so we'll have some starter pieces, and we'll just kind of get a random cut here. So I'll just make that cut now. Okay, we're ready for our first cut. This is the tongue side, which would normally fit right in here. And what you do is just reverse it, lay this against the wall, come down here, and you can get your mark right here. And then when you cut it, because you have the tongue still here, cut it, and that will still give you a little bit of expansion here on the end. So we're ready to cut our first end cut. The remainder of this board will actually go down on the other end and will serve as another starter board. This way we'll have a continual different length to keep up our random pattern. You can also use scrap wood and a hammer to kind of tap things in. Usually the first 3 or 4 rows, things kind of move a little bit, but once you get that first section base down, it kind of holds itself together after that. Okay, we're ready for a couple more, and we can actually mark a couple. As you can see, as you're doing this, you do get glue on your finger. Little mineral spirits in a rag, and wipe it up. As you're going, just look at the floor, make sure everything's tight. Make sure you're staying on your line here. Usually once you get this far out, this line stays pretty well put. It's just the first 3 or 4 rows it kind of moves on you. Okay, we've got our first section in. We do have some cracks here, so I'm going to take a piece of scrap and a hammer, and we'll tighten that all up, and then we'll go ahead and clean the glue off of this section. Notice we did use a cardboard underneath our saw just to help from scratching the finish, just to give it some protection so we don't have any problems later. We got to cut up to the wall now, so I got to cut this way and this way. My pen's not marking the surface real good, so I made a mark here on the back so I'd have something to go by. We've used a bandsaw here. However, you can use a table saw just as well. Whatever you have. I've even used jigsaws before. Just something to make a nice cut that you can safely cut it without damaging your finger. Okay, we're ready for our wall cut. Our 3-inch board is not going to fit, so we have to make a cut. What I'm going to do is put this board right on top of the last board that we installed, and I'll take this piece of scrap piece. I cut the tongue side off of it, and what I'm going to do is lay this board here, take my marker, and as I slide down the wall, I mark the piece that needs to be cut. Okay, we've got our board cut. Now we just need to install it, and our refrigerator's in the way, so we will pull that out, because we have to tip this up and drop it in. Okay, now we can put our board in, tipping this up so we can align the tongue and groove like that. Okay, well, we finished our project, and we're going to show you some before and after pictures. Hi, my name's Jerry Bell. If you're thinking of buying a wood floor, or you have a friend that's thinking of buying a wood floor and would like to have a free copy of this program, call or email me. I'll be happy to send you one. Let me know if you'd prefer CD-ROM or VHS tape. Thank you for watching.